April 8, 1943. High above France, veteran German ace Ralph Herrmachen watched the massive American fighters climbing towards his formation. He laughed, transmitting to his wingman, "The enemy has sent us flying milk bottles." He and his Luftwaffe comrades, accustomed to sleek Spitfires, saw the gigantic 7-ton Republic P-47 Thunderbolt as a comical, corpulent machine, a pregnant cow barely flying. What Herrmachen didn't know, what no German pilot could possibly have imagined, was that the weapon he was mocking was loaded with the mathematics of destruction. Its 8 synchronized .50 caliber machine guns could sever a Messerschmitt in half in under 2 seconds. In just 18 months, that laughter would turn to sheer, unadulterated terror as the flying milk bottle became the most feared sound in the skies over Germany. This is the story of how industrial logic, overwhelming power, and raw, concentrated firepower defeated tactical brilliance, and how the P-47 Thunderbolt systematically destroyed the Luftwaffe and changed the face of aerial warfare forever. The German scorn for the newly arrived American fighter, the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, was palpable. Its 2,000 horsepower Pratt and Whitney double Wasp engine strained against its 7-ton weight. To the seasoned German pilots of Jagdgeschwader 26, the Thunderbolt was a lumbering, barrel-shaped oddity with wings that seemed too small. Yet, beneath those broad wings lay 3,400 rounds of ammunition, offering a combined rate of fire of 6,000 rounds per minute, enough firepower to tear any enemy aircraft to shreds. The Thunderbolt represented a radical shift in fighter design. While the Germans optimized for lightweight interceptors focused on climbing and turning, Republic Aviation's Georgian-born chief designer, Alexander Kart-Veli, created a high-altitude juggernaut. It was a dinosaur with good proportion, as he put it, using sheer mass, power, and firepower to redefine aerial combat. When the XP-47B prototype first flew in May 1941, its size shocked everyone. At 9,900 pounds empty, it was 65% heavier than its predecessor, the P-43 Lancer. Its complex turbo supercharger system, ducting exhaust gases through the rear fuselage, gave it an almost pregnant appearance. Yet, this system allowed the massive radial engine to maintain full power at 27,000 feet, where conventional German fighters choked. Initially, the P-47 was a challenge, even a killer for its own pilot. Training accidents between late 1942 and early 1943 resulted in the loss of 18 pilots and 41 aircraft, more than the Germans would claim. In the first months of combat, it ground-looped on landing, torque rolled on takeoff, and dove with such enthusiasm that pilots experienced compressibility, controls freezing as shock waves formed on the wings. But pilots who mastered it, like Lieutenant Robert Johnson, who would become one of America's top aces, felt they were strapping yourself to a locomotive. Early combat in April and May 1943 seemed to confirm German prejudices. The P-47s couldn't turn with the Focke-Wulf 190s or climb with the Messerschmitt 109s. Luftwaffe pilots, like Josef Pips Priller, commanding officer of JG-26, reported that the new American fighter was meat for the slaughter, calling them fat targets, pretending to be warriors. In the first month, the Americans lost 14 Thunderbolts for only 3 German kills. The RAF even joked that the best evasive maneuver in a P-47 was to unstrap and run around the spacious cockpit. However, a hidden reality was emerging. The P-47s that went down had absorbed unbelievable punishment. One aircraft returned from a May mission with 21 cannon holes and over 100 machine gun strikes, damage that would have disintegrated any other contemporary fighter. The massive radial engine, lacking vulnerable coolant systems, simply shrugged off hits. More crucially, when P-47s did hit targets, the results were catastrophic. The pivotal event that shattered German assumptions occurred on June 26, 1943, involving 2nd Lieutenant Robert S. Johnson. Returning from escort duty, his formation was bounced by Focke-Wulfs. Johnson's Thunderbolt was caught in a crossfire, taking catastrophic damage, including 20mm cannon shells that shattered the canopy, ripped away the cowling, and jammed the cockpit shut. Johnson was trapped in a dying aircraft. What followed defied all known combat damage tolerance. Despite catastrophic damage and barely functioning controls, the P-47 kept flying. A lone Focke-Wulf 190 discovered the crippled Thunderbolt limping toward the channel and emptied its full load, 20mm cannon shells and machine gun rounds, into the wreck. The German pilot then pulled alongside, staring in utter disbelief at the flying ruin. He shook his head, gave an informal salute, and peeled away, out of ammunition. Johnson's P-47 landed safely, with its crew chief stopping the bullet count after 200. The aircraft's ability to survive sent shockwaves through both air forces. German intelligence refused to believe the combat reports. By July 1943, American pilots, led by figures like Lieutenant Colonel Hubert "Hub" Zemke, had learned the secret. Don't turn with them. Don't climb with them at low altitude. Use your weight. Use your power. Use your guns. The P-47's massive weight became its weapon. In a dive from 30,000 feet, nothing could catch it, reaching speeds of 550 miles per hour, faster than any German fighter. This speed could be converted into a rapid zoom climb, leaving pursuers behind. The boom and zoom tactic was born, quickly nicknamed the Thunderbolt turkey shoot. The true revelation of American firepower came during the dual raid on Schweinfurt and Regensburg on August 17, 1943. Major David Schilling, leading a Thunderbolt squadron, dove on a formation of twin-engine Messerschmitt 110 bomber killers. A German gunner later recounted the Thunderbolts came down like hammers from heaven. He saw his own hits strike the P-47, which didn't even wobble. Then the P-47 fired, and the German aircraft ahead of him simply came apart, not shot down, destroyed. The concentrated fire of 8 heavy machine guns created a lethal convergence zone. Anything caught in it simply disintegrated. The P-47's superiority grew with altitude thanks to its turbo supercharger. German fighters saw their performance degrade significantly above 25,000 feet, but the double Wasp maintained power up to 30,000 feet. Oberleutnant Hans Philipp, a top German ace, was killed by a P-47 in October 1943 when his Focke-Wulf A-6 was sluggish and unresponsive. At 28,000 feet. His death shocked the Luftwaffe. In January 1944, the P-47 D-22 variant arrived with a massive 13-foot paddle blade propeller, dramatically improving its climb rate and acceleration. This change also gave the Thunderbolt a distinct, deep, thundering roar, leading German ground troops to nickname it Donnerschlag, or Thunderclap. By March 1944, P-47s, now equipped with external drop tanks, could escort bombers deep into Germany. The Luftwaffe's attempts to bypass the escort screen were increasingly suicidal. German pilots developed a grudging fear. Major Günther Rall, one of Germany's top aces, recalled, "They came down like an avalanche, faster than we could react. The first pass destroyed 3 of our fighters. Their guns didn't fire in bursts like ours. They poured out solid streams of fire. Getting caught in that stream meant instant death." After D-Day on June 6, 1944, the P-47 transitioned from escort fighter to the most feared ground attack aircraft in the German arsenal. Equipped with bombs and rockets, the P-47 was a true multi-role monster. Its 8 heavy machine guns could tear through the top armor of most German vehicles. A column of German trucks simply ceased to exist in one pass, as one Panzer Grenadier commander recounted. The psychological effect of the Jabos, fighter bombers, was devastating. The Thunderbolt also proved its worth in the Pacific against the Japanese, whose fragile fighters were unprepared for its combination of durability and firepower. Japanese ace Saburo Sakai called them monsters. The ultimate evolution of the P-47 came in its encounters with the German Me-262 jet fighter. P-47 pilots discovered they could catch the jets during vulnerable takeoffs and landings and in high-speed dives. With specialized P-47M variants, boosting power to 2,800 horsepower, they could reach 470 miles per hour in level flight at high altitude, fast enough to engage the jets. As Lieutenant Colonel John C. Meyer noted, after shooting down a Me-262, the jet disintegrated under fire from the concentrated .50 caliber burst. The story of the P-47 is ultimately the story of American industrial might. Republic Aviation produced 15,683 P-47s during the war, more than any other American fighter, with the Evansville plant alone producing 500 aircraft per month by 1944. This unparalleled production meant that when the Luftwaffe launched a desperate surprise attack on Allied airfields on January 1, 1945, the losses were instantly replaced. When a captured German pilot taunted an American major about the burning P-47s on the ground, the major pointed to the replacement aircraft already arriving and said, "By tomorrow, we'll have 40 new ones. How long will it take you to replace your pilots?" The Luftwaffe lost 271 aircraft and 213 irreplaceable pilots that day. The Americans lost 134 aircraft, all replaced within a week. The German High Command's own report on the P-47 was sobering, acknowledging its superior ceiling, dive speed, armor, and rugged construction. The same Josef Priller, who had once mocked the P-47, later called it the best fighter bomber ever built, with firepower that is unprecedented, weapons that never jam, never overheat, never run out of ammunition. The laughter had long since stopped. The flying milk bottle had won.